Hello, it's AlinaGG, and welcome to Inspire Me with AlinaGG. And I have Lewis Huckstep joining me today. Welcome aboard.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward to having a good chat today.
Yes. So, where to begin? So you're a fantastic coach. You're really walking your talk with your mindset content that I've been following. And honestly, it is so jam-packed. Even your podcast, like that little introduction of episode 200, which I recommend everyone to listen to,
Yeah.
on your values, just reframed something for me. Something just clicked in my brain. So thank you for what you do.
Thank you so much. It's a cool journey. I find that we become the people we needed when we were at our lowest. So I'm just a lot of this stuff is for me, and I'm just passing it on to other people. And I think I've got a bit of a skill or a gift of being able to just articulate things in a certain way that lands for people. So yeah, just going along the ride.
Yeah, fantastic. So you've had a few different mentors along the path, have you?
Yeah, done tons. I started, I think Tony Robbins was the first, I guess, self-development thing I consumed, which was like 10 years ago, just on YouTube. And yeah, gone down many different rabbit holes. Joe Dispenza, Wayne Dyer, Demartini, Kerwin Ray was a huge mentor of mine from a business aspect. Yeah, so many different rabbit holes and so much growth and so much more to do. Just haven't even scratched the surface yet.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Oh, great. Okay. So what's your vision for your business anyway? Like what drives you?
Great question. I caught up with a friend of mine last night for dinner, and we actually went through this. So, look, my purpose personally is to heal and improve the consciousness of the world. So to add consciousness and to help people heal through their stuff. And then my mission is to impact 1 million people to help them heal and guide them to live an inspired life. So my vision, that's the commercial goal of like, okay, not commercial, but that's just the measurable goal that we're aiming for. And then I guess if we dive deep down into that, it's helping people just to have a life that they truly love. It's to have a life that they wake up out of bed inspired to do. They have a life that they've designed. They have a life that they love. And yeah, they've done, because I find some people are generally one way or the other. They're very, I guess, achievement focused. They're very structured, rigid, and they've got great structure with their life, and they're probably achieving quite well, I guess, financially or strategically with their business, with their career. But then they're quite unfulfilled and they're quite miserable on the inside. And then go to the flip side, you have kind of the extreme of people that don't really take any action, but they live in the present moment and they're so totally at peace and they're solely loved and beautiful. And I love that too. But we live in a bit of a commercial world where if you don't have money, you can't pay your rent. So I find, yeah, being able to just help people wake up, understand, well, be able to understand their values, understand that you mentioned before, understand what their purpose is, understand what their vision is for their life, work on themselves mentally, emotionally, spiritually, but then also have that actual clarity. Okay, well, what do I do? Okay, I've got this great vision. I've worked on my stuff. I've healed from the past. I've rewired my mind, and I've got clarity on where of who I am and where I want to go. How the fuck do I get there? And then we go, great. Well, what's the plan? What's the vehicle? How much income do we want to earn? What's the vehicle that's going to allow you to have the impact, income, and lifestyle that you want for that vision? And then what is the execution plan? What are we doing the next 12 months, the next quarter, the next month, the next week? What are we doing today? And I like that we're speaking about this because it's June 30th as we record this, and I redo mine every 3 months. So I'm actually redoing mine this afternoon. I'm going back through my entire plan. I redo my values, just like that video you referenced before. So I'm going to redo mine. Going to redo my purpose or refine my purpose, refine my mission, refine my vision, and then go back through my plan and tighten things up and make sure I course correct if I need to course correct. So yeah, that's kind of the vision, to help people go through that whole process.
Wow, that's great because it's so measurable and specific. So you could really get somewhere with something like that.
Yeah.
And so, how long does it take you to get a result and transformation for your clients?
That's a great question. So I guess depending on the person that I'm coming for, like if there's someone who's quite conscious with themselves and they've got really good commercial structure, they're doing well financially, and they've just got like, and they've done a lot of work, they've just maybe missing a piece of the puzzle, that it might take one session, to be honest. So it depends who's coming with me. Like I have, if I reference the course that I have, which is my main product, it's either work with me as a one-on-one coach or to do my course. My course, depending how fast you can go through it or how, I guess, focused you are, you could do it within a couple of weeks. But then that's as in like do maybe an hour a week or something like that. But Yeah, it depends on what they're coming for. Like I've had calls with someone where in 30 minutes, like they've had these huge releases, these huge balancing moments, and they look fucking 5 years younger by the end of the call just because they've actually let go of that weight and that stress and that judgment that they were holding on to. And like that's a 20-30 minute conversation. So it kind of depends what they're coming for. Like I'm working with some people right now to help them build their coaching business, which is I'm really enjoying that now, which is really fun. And just helping them understand the different business models and how to actually scale their time and scale their income. Like sometimes that's a 5 minute conversation, an hour conversation. So yeah, it kind of depends, I guess, what the person's coming for. But yeah, like I can depend. Yeah, I would say an hour, depending on the problem. If it's like obviously a cascade of things, like they've got things like from childhood, they've got things I don't know what their values, their vision, their purpose. They don't know anything about money. They don't know how to sell. They don't know how to. They don't. They're just literally a blank canvas. It'd probably take me I minimum work with 3 months with clients, and that's an hour a week for 3 months, so let's call it 12 hours. So let's say 12 hours is maybe the most I would need to work with someone if they're brand spanking new and they've got no fucking clue with what's going on. But yeah, just depends what they're coming to me for.
Great. Okay, cool. I can see how much that your coaching lights you up, and that's cool. Obviously your work inspires you, which obviously drives and propels that forward.
Awesome.
What else inspires you?
Yeah, great question. So if we go back to values, that's the answer I do to that. So my highest value is coaching. So I do it most of my day. It's most of my day looks like that. Like I've got this today. I've got I think 4 strategy calls, which is discovery calls to connect with people and potentially do work with them. My second value is learning. So I love learning. So I'm always learning. I've got books behind me. I'm reading Principles right now, which is Ray Dalio. So I'm doing that, which is fantastic from A Life and Work Principles. That's a really, really good book. So learning definitely lights me up. Wealth is my third value. So I love wealth. I love understanding finances, growing my wealth, investing, invest into stocks. I'm looking into the property, I guess, game now. It's the next step for me. Relationships, so intimate relationships. So spending time with my partner. Just said hello to her just before I jumped on this call. So what else is there? Friendships is in there. Health is in there. I just got back from the gym. So I literally raced home from the gym to jump onto this call. What else is in there? Games is my last one. So I love games. Any form of games like video games or sports games or card games, board games. I love games. So those would be my values. So within there, just I guess a combination of those. They're the things that light me up.
Great. It's great to know yourself, isn't it? It's so empowering. It helps you enjoy life. And something else I took away from your podcast is if you're not allocating time for your values, you can start to really feel a bit crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. I had a call with one of my very first coaching clients a couple of years ago. We jumped on a call and we were working together for about a month at this time. And I normally start my calls with my clients with how are you feeling or how are you out of 10 personally and how are you out of 10 professionally and why? And her answer was like 6 or 5 personally. I was like, oh, well, what's going on? She's like, oh, I just feel shit. I said, okay, well, let's go through your values. You understand what they are. Let's go through them. What's your first one? Highest one was health. I said, how's your health been this week? So I haven't trained. Well, there's your first sign. I said, what's your second one? Friendships. You caught up with your friends this week? No, I haven't spoken to them. There's your second one. What's your third one? Business. How's your business been? I haven't done any work on my business. Well, there you go. Magic. You feel like shit. So the quote that I use a lot, like low self-worth is feedback that you're not living in alignment with what your values are. Or you're just not being authentic. You're putting other people's values ahead of yours. You're subordinating to other people. So yeah, just understand, like you said, that self-awareness of like, who am I? And just to sort of, if for people listening, like if you want the training, just go watch my episode 200 of my podcast. It's literally there. It's free. There's a link to download the PDF as well. So it's completely free. Don't have to opt into anything. And like if you just get clear on like what areas of life, because most people think values are things like honesty, loyalty, respect, freedom, integrity, and all that stuff. None of those are values. They're characteristics and human traits, not actual areas of life. Like you live to your values, you do your values, you spend money on them, you think about them, you talk about them. So yeah, once you just understand them, and then it's not like a surprise when you figure them out. They're like, oh, I didn't realize that's what I'm into. It just gives you that awareness, that consciousness of, okay, that's who I am. that's what's actually meaningful to me. And then structure that into your day, into your calendar. Schedule in. I have scheduled time in for coaching. I have scheduled time in with my partner. I have scheduled time in for learning. I have scheduled time in for my relationships and friendships, for my health. And yeah, you just, yeah, whatever doesn't get scheduled, like I said, doesn't get done.
Yeah, great. And I love how you explaining values as doing words, they're verbs, they're actions you can take. And
Yeah,
and that is just so that moves that energy forward. And that's great. That's really shifted something for me. So thank you. So
very
let's
welcome.
talk about relationships and conscious relationships, because you do post some content on your like Instagram about that. And that's pretty
Yep.
cool. That's a hot topic now. I noticed a lot of people are speaking into that. Even people who normally wouldn't are
Yep.
starting to, like Matthew McConaughey was talking about, how he found Camilla and how that happened. And
Yep.
yeah, so it's pretty cool. And yeah, let's talk about it. There's so much there to unpack.
Awesome. Any particular angle on that, or just want me to go from the top?
Let's start with triggers.
Cool.
Boom.
I literally I did a podcast with my partner. So we do one every sort of 6 to 12 months, more again, mainly for personal reasons, just to sort of document our relationship and how we're growing as a couple and as individuals. So we did another one on Wednesday, so 2 days ago. That will go live, I think, next week. And we actually spoke about what's our growth as a couple, like setting new boundaries for each other, learning to communicate better, learning to hold space for when we are triggered. I had a conversation last week. I went on to Shine's podcast. I'm drinking a Shine drink for anyone that's watching the video. I went on their podcast and he asked me a really good question. He says, does your work show up a lot in relationships? Oh, sorry. Is a lot of the work that you do in relationships? And I said, look, I'm not a relationship coach. I don't sort of see myself as that, but the work I do shows up in relationships the most. So whatever triggers you the most will heal you the most. That's where a trigger reveals something that hasn't been healed or processed through. You've got triggers, traumatic reactions, and traumas. So a trigger is revealing a trauma that hasn't been processed. A trauma is just unprocessed memories. And when you're in a intimate relationship, because they see more sides to you than anyone else, they're going to reveal those triggers or those unhealed traumas that are there, because you don't know until you're aware of it, right? Consciousness, as you mentioned before. So it's being a conscious and aware that, oh shit, there is something that I haven't worked through yet. And your partner is going to, whether you like it or not, they're going to shine a light on that. They're going to just put awareness on it. And it's just unconscious until it's conscious. So yeah, the thing that I love about, I guess, conscious relationships is that you are going to trigger each other, or not any relationship, you will trigger each other, but in a conscious one, you're going to be able to be aware of that and be like, great, what an opportunity to heal. What an opportunity to become better. What an opportunity to do some integrating work, some inner child work, or some whatever term you want to use. They're the ultimate mirror. They're literally holding a mirror up to you and showing you those parts of you that you haven't learned to love yet. And we had one, I think 3 weeks ago. And we just went through, and it happened to be Georgia this time, and a trigger of hers came up. And once the dust is settled, we process through that, work through that. And then that triggers less next time. And you do it. And once you do the healing completely, it doesn't trigger you at all. So it's just, yeah, it's the part I love about relationships the most, if done with the right awareness, with the right tools, or the right consciousness, which is, again, hence the work that I love doing, and the work that I do. It's where you're going to grow the most. I saw a quote a while ago. I'm paraphrasing this, but it's, you will do more spiritual, personal growth in your intimate relationship more than anything else. It was like something like no course or mentor or program or plant medicine session will heal you more than an intimate relationship. And if you just really understand that and embrace that and be grateful that your partner is showing you those parts, then having the tools to work through it, you're going to grow like no tomorrow. So that's why I love them.
That's beautiful. And if you've got two people with that mindset holding space for each other, it's such a game changer. Like, you grow so fast, and it feels really empowering, actually. Like, you can do anything because you're both holding this vision, you're both holding this space and this sacred container. And I think, yeah, it's really something that people are becoming more aware of. I think the old paradigm of relationships is just like dead in the water. It's like a dinosaur, you get married and the passion fades and then it all goes to shit. Like, that's not a way to live. Like, you know what I mean? I think there's a different choice to have, and it takes two people.
Yeah, it's having two people that are individually whole, individually loving who they are. They're not codependent on each other. They don't need their partner to be fulfilled. I'm very fucking happy without my partner. And I say that openly. My partner is very happy without me as well. And then we come together and we make each other better. And yeah, we both have a vision for our life, as we were talking about before. You asked my vision for my life, and I gave you the business answer. But I have the within that vision, there's the partner I want to be, the relationship I want to have, the dad that I want to be, and we're both working towards that. We make sure for anyone that's in a relationship or wanting to improve their relationship life is make sure you're clear on the vision for your relationship. Make sure your partner's clear on theirs and make sure there's alignment there. If you want kids and they never want kids, you're in the wrong relationship. If you value open communication and high levels of communication and they don't, then you're probably in the wrong one. So there needs to be, just like hiring an employee, and I know people don't really like that because it takes away the sort of sexiness and the energy of a relationship. But if you're hiring someone for a particular role, they need to be a good fit for the role. So if you have a vision for where you're going and that person isn't the right fit for that vision, you're just jamming a square peg in a round hole. Frustrating, irritating, arguments, stressful. Fuck that. Like, just be honest with each other. Hey, this is where I'm going. This is what I envision for my relationship. What's yours? Is there alignment there? There is. Awesome. And are we both willing to work on each other, ourselves individually and collectively, to become the people worthy of that future, worthy of that vision? You get in life, you don't get in life what you want, you get in life who you are. So it's been able to work on your shit, and that's hence the healing. But not just that, like obviously strategically reading books, doing programs, getting mentorship, getting whatever it is that you need. Like, I want to impact 1 million people. I'm fucking not there yet. I'm probably, man, if I count the people that have actually done the work with me, a couple hundred people, fuck, I got a long way to go. Like I've got a lot of work to put in to get there because I'm clearly not worth it yet. So I need to work on my skills as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a coach, as an influencer, as a communicator, as a partner. So, and then we hold each other to those standards. And that's the, again, just another benefit of conscious relationships.
Yeah, great. Another quote I've heard is that a great relationship is one that both supports and challenges.
Yep.
And I just
Beautiful.
love that. That's such a good combo. And when you've got those two energies running through your day every day, and that's where the growth is, because as we know, growth happens out of our comfort zone, but
Yep.
then we need the support and the holding of space to process. And then I think it's great when people like take responsibility for what's their stuff and not
Yep.
project. And sometimes projections happen. We've all got a filter that we see life through, right?
Yep.
However, if you can catch yourself and it's just that growing self-awareness piece that comes with doing the work, right? And just trusting the process and the benefits of doing the work every day, showing up. Yeah. So
100%.
fantastic. So what else was I? Oh, so you do speak about setting boundaries and things like that. Do you have any tips for people who perhaps are people pleasers and find it hard to do that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I come from that place. I'm still very much a people pleaser myself, and it's a strength for anyone that thinks it's a bad thing, because whatever you judge yourself for, you continue to do, which is a very a funny joke of the universe. But so stop judging yourself first and foremost for doing it. It is a strength, but it's learning to balance it. Right, it's a healthy balance of what to have in place. So if we start with values again, so whatever your values are, schedule them in, they become boundaries. So I have, so say, and I say someone calls me today and they say, hey, Louis, are you free today? You want to catch up? I'll be like, hey, look, mate, yes, I would love to. Just let me check my calendar. Let me get back to you. Because if that invitation overtakes one of my values, that's more important to me than that person, with all respect to that person. It's like saying yes to that devalues who I am. And that's where having them scheduled in, and don't get me wrong, I'm not that rigid, and I don't like, shit's happens. Like if my knock on wood, a family member gets sick and they need me there, I'll cancel this podcast and I'll be down there in 2 seconds to be there for them. So yes, there's obviously the things happen, and you always go outside of that when things go wrong or things happen, you need to change. But 90% of the time, stick to it. Stick to what it is that you want to do for you to feel full and for you to feel enough. So that's one version of boundaries, or one layer of boundaries. And then there's obviously the behavior that you do and don't tolerate. So we all know what it is intuitively. It's just being courageous enough to listen to it. It's just, if someone does something, and it might be like little comments like, oh, you're looking a little, have you put on some weight? Or you're looking, have you been to the gym lately? Or you should, whatever, like, you'll never be successful. I don't know, whatever little throwaway lines people do. It's just been, you feel it, you know, it's not okay, but it just might be lack of self-worth. It might be, I know, scare of losing that person. It might be, I know, just fear of abandonment, whatever's happening that's stopping you from actually saying, hey, look, I just want to let you know the way you did that actually really hurts, or the thing you just said, the thing you just did, whatever it may be, really hurts or really frustrates me or really makes me feel shit about myself. And obviously, that's my stuff to work on. And I understand that. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to heal. But at the same time, that's just not behavior that I tolerate in my life. So, to be honest with you, if you keep doing that, we're not going to hang out very often, if not ever. And I'm just letting you know because you might not be aware of the actions that you're doing. So I just want to give you the opportunity to be aware of it. But if you do continue to do this, I will be limiting my time with you. But most people just aren't willing to do that. They're too scared of whatever. I know they're leaving you, they're family members, you've known them for so long. Who gives a fuck? Like, if they're
Mm.
going to stop you from getting the vision and the life that you truly are desired to have, every time you say yes when you want to say no, or every time you say no when you want to say yes, you are saying no to yourself, and you're saying no to your future. You're saying no to your vision. You're saying no to all the things that you're inspired to have. And yeah, like, I don't live life like that. If my partner today does something to me that doesn't sit well with me, I'll let her know, obviously in a healthy way. I'm not saying just go be this brutal, like, tyrant and like, and stomping on heads type of thing, but it's just communicated in a healthy way. Hey, look, like, if my, she doesn't really, we haven't had one in such a long time, but, I think early days in our relationship, like little things like cleanliness, something that me and her want to work on as well. And me as well, not just her, but just little things. Hey, babe, this is just something, like, for me, like, I would never hang the towel up after a shower. I'm a drip dryer for any men out there or ladies out there that drip dry out of the shower. And I would then, like, walk around the house with a towel on, but then I'd leave the towel around the house, and it would really fuck with her. And she's like, baby, like, look, this is a red flag. Please stop doing this. And I've gotten a lot better. I have still done it from time to time, but I'm tenfold better than what I used to be. So that's obviously a very small example. A bigger one for me was self growth, where making sure that we both grow in our relationship. And she wasn't doing any growth at some point. And I just said, brought it to attention. Hey, babe, just want to let you know this is a boundary for me, that my partner, we grow together. And please hold me to that as well. Like, if I'm not growing, tell me about it. Like, let me know if I'm not doing the growth that you think is expected for us. And I will do my best to be better. Everything needs to be fair and reasonable. But yeah, it's just been, just listen. I think you used the word before, being intuitive, and listening to that intuition. And yeah, like, whatever you don't act upon, whatever you suppress, you express. So if you're suppressing something, you express it through your life. If you're suppressing anger, you will express anger somewhere else. If someone does something and it fucks with you and you don't act on it, you don't solve that, you bottle it up, it's coming out somewhere else. It's coming out with your relationship, your friends, your business. So whenever it
That's
shows up, act on
Yeah,
it.
that's interesting because I think it's called deflection. Is it deflection? There's something like that where someone might irritate you and trigger you, and you might not have the space and time to process it, but it's still inside you. It's like when people are driving around, like, and they get angry and, like, they, out of nowhere, like, some people just want to have a fight, or they beep, or they're like,
Yeah.
they're so ready. They've got the anger. It's already there on the inside, like locked and loaded,
Yeah.
and they're just waiting to release it. But it's not healthy because it's coming from something else. And it's just that, yeah. Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. That's so
Yeah.
true what you just said. Yeah.
Wayne Dyer, I've got his book behind me. It's called Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. Really good book, by the way, for anyone listening. Really good book. And he used to say, he's passed away, and he would say on stage, he'd have an orange, and he said, if I squeeze this orange, what's going to come out? Orange juice. If I squeeze you, what's going to come out? So when we're under pressure, under stress, under high levels of stress and pressure, whatever's in you is coming out. So if you've got anger, you got frustration, you got shit that you've suppressed, that's when it's coming out. So that's kind of just another way of looking at the same thing that I just said. So yeah, if you don't act upon it and you suppress that stuff, that anger, the frustration, the guilt, the shame, the negativity, the judgment, whatever it may be, if you don't regulate it and process it and express it in a healthy way, then it's coming out somewhere else. And probably when you're in high levels of stress, probably when you're triggered, what we're talking about before. It's like, and we're all guilty of this, and I've done this as well. It's like you get an argument with your partner, they trigger you, and then you bring up all this shit that you didn't tell them from all these things they did weeks ago, months ago, years ago. Like, how long you been holding on to that for? Why don't you tell me that when it happened? And I've done that too. So learning not to do that, and just as soon as something happens, like like we don't. They're so small now. I don't really even pick up on them. A small one, like we clean up before we go to bed. So like we go to bed. We're old people. We go to bed like 8:30. So we start getting ready for bed around 8 o'clock, and like we have like a certain wipe down, clean down standard that we do for each other, for the house. So make sure it's a nice condition for the next day. And like Georgie used to run up the stairs and like leave it for me, and she'd do it really cute. But I said, "Hey babe, like this is not the standard. This is a red flag. Can you please help me with this?" So it's just not me every single night. But that was it. Instead of me, but if I was to swallow that and just get frustrated about that every single time because it just builds and builds and builds and builds, then something happens. I'm like, babe, what the fuck? You never do this. You never do this. And that's well, if I just Tony Robbins uses this line all the time: kill the monster while it's small before it's big enough to kill you. So when it's small, take care of it. Just take care of that little one. Hey, babe, can I just let you know this is a red flag? But let's just take care of it now because we don't need to let it build into anything else. Is that cool? Beautiful. Let's go. Like it can just be as simple as that. But most people aren't courageous enough. They're scared of being hurt. They're scared of them leaving them because they're not whole, because they haven't done their work. And yeah, there's so many different dynamics that it shows up in.
Wow. Gosh. All right. Well, so what else is front of mind for you lately? What else, yeah, are you focusing on and learning about?
Look, my learning at the moment is Ray Dalio. So my learning style is whenever I consume someone, I like become immersed with them. So I'll listen to their podcast. Like I just finished Joe Dispenza again. So I did Becoming Supernatural, a fantastic book, quite a hard read. So I did that. It took me like 2 months to finish that book because there was just so much to learn and get out of that. So I'd read his book at night and during the day. I'd listen to podcasts of him when I drive, when I'm at night. Excuse me. So I just finished that about 2-3 weeks ago. So I'm now into Principles by Ray Dalio. I did it when it first came back as an audiobook. I don't do audiobooks anymore. I just find I don't retain that much for audiobooks. That's just me anyways. You can, like, I was guilty of doing 100 audiobooks. I couldn't remember fucking anything from any of them. I'd remember like one line from the whole thing and I'm like, oh, but I've listened to so many books, which was just my ego. And then my friend, a mentor of mine was like, hey man, like, just so you know, like I used to do the same thing. I couldn't retain shit. Like if I said, what were your top 5 takeaways from this book? Can you answer that? And I'm like, oh, no, nah, not really. So great. So just go back and do the hard copy. So even though people don't want to because it's time consuming, which I understand that, like it's good to, I do both. But to answer the question, I'm learning Ray Dalio at the moment. So his book's really awesome, just from a analytical, structural decision making process. I've been really enjoying that. I'm working on my coaching business, so just getting consistency with that. So I'm starting to do some really awesome numbers and revenue numbers, which is really cool. And I'm not a huge money guy. Obviously, wealth is a value of mine, but it's just a measurement stick for the impact that I'm making. So that's really cool. So I'm starting to change some lives, more lives, which I'm really enjoying. I am writing a book. I've been quite slack with it, to be honest. So I've just paid a book coach to work with me because I've been pretty slack with that, to hold me accountable and obviously help me with the parts that I don't know what to do. That's pretty much me. I'm a pretty simple guy. Like I learn every day. I train it. Like I said, just got back from the gym. I love helping my clients. So I've got some epic clients. So I work one-on-one with clients, and they're getting some awesome results, which fucking lights me up. So I'm really, really pumped about that. Just working on me, really. Just like I'm still working on my stuff. I caught up with a friend last night for dinner, and I actually asked him if he has any connections with people that are more energetic healers, because that's something I haven't really gone down the rabbit hole of. I've done very like coaching, NLP style of coaching, which is good from an analytical aspect, but I've never really explored the Reiki energetic healers. So I'm like, hey, look, I'd love to go down that rabbit hole. I'd love to experience that myself to see what it is there, because you don't know what you don't know. So
Oh yeah, I've been deep down that hole for many years,
yeah.
so I can definitely help you out with that.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm excited to do that. So I just love working on me. Like there's just so many things that like you just don't know what you don't know. Like you might think you're at a certain level, and I'm proud to think that I've come a long way. But like I know there's still shit there. Like I know there's still things that haven't been released that's stored there. It's just how the body works. You're never fully healed. And if anyone believes that you're done, show me someone who's not triggered, because a trigger reveals a trauma. I've never met a single human being on the planet who never gets triggered. Never. I've never met one. And
Yeah.
to people like, well, can you become less triggered? Of course. Like I probably triggered 10% as much as what I used to be from when I first started the journey, but I still get triggered. I'm still a human being. I'm still got my unprocessed shit that I'm not even aware of. It might be
Mm.
stored energetically from something that happened when I was 6 months old.
Yeah, that's right. It's subconscious, so you can't always attack it with the logical mind and the
Yeah.
3D reality. It's got to go deeper or bypass or go into the other dimensions. And one of my meditation mentors, she used to say it's only a trigger because there's still energy under it, and there's
Yeah.
that unhealed energy. And
Perfect.
when you shift and heal that energy, you don't get triggered anymore. The same thing could happen, and you would just be like not even bothered by it. So yeah, just I guess there's so many different ways in, right, to do this type of work. So it's good to try different ways and just keep going, and you can you can feel the results within yourself, right?
Yeah.
You can feel it straight away. And look, sometimes healing doesn't always feel great. It's not always rainbows and unicorns. Like sometimes it actually feels you feel
Shit.
tired and drained when you're in the middle of a shift or a transition. And I think it's good for people to talk about that as well, because can't always be up and on and full of energy. It's like sometimes you got to just lie down, let go, do a guided meditation or surrender or have a nap or something, and
Yeah.
let your body like integrate, on all the levels.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what I reckon anyway.
No, I absolutely agree. Like I guess the styles I've done breathwork sessions, like DMT breathwork sessions, which were fucking awesome. Obviously, a lot of NLP stuff. That's, I guess, where I started. A lot of analytical coaching, where it's like actually identifying the trauma and processing that, like step by step. That's my main go-to. That's like what I guess my strength is. I'm a very energetic guy, but I'm not a Reiki healer by any means. That's not my domain, and that's not my level. I've done plant medicine, big fan of plant medicine. I do that every 6 months. So I did one 4 weeks ago now. So, and that was really awesome. Did some more healing, some more things that I just didn't know that were there. That was really cool. But yeah, so yeah, there's, to your point, there's so many ways to do it. It's just one way. So I actually did a course, a workshop about a month ago, and it's like people get caught up with doing their way of doing things. Like there's only one way, but
Mm,
that's so limited because
yeah.
there's only so far you can get. There's only like, yeah, it's like using a hammer to build the entire house. You can do some things, but if you try to use a hammer when you need a drill, it's not as effective, and it's probably not going to work. So it's just being able to try all those different tools and modalities and strategies and healers and people to do it. So yeah, I'm a big fan. So I guess the origination of this conversation was what am I working on at the moment, or what's happening in my world. That's just something that I'm excited to. So I got a connection last night for someone who does this, and yeah, looking forward to just keep doing the work on me.
Oh, great. Well, thank you so much for, showing up today and having this conversation. There's lots in there. So, lots of juicy information. And how can people find you and work with you, Lewis?
Awesome. Look, Lewis Huckstep across the board. It's a quite a unique last name, which is a good thing for this. So, Instagram's where I'm at most of the time. So, if you actually want to have a conversation with me, message me there, and I talk to everyone. I get back to everyone. So, yeah, send me a DM there if you want to. And yeah, I've got a podcast, Lewis Huckstep. It's on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. If you just type my name in, it should pop up. It's literally called the Lewis Huckstep Experience. But yeah, if you want any help or any guidance, like even if it's just some free resources, like I refer people to other coaches, other books, other programs all the time. And if we're the right fit for each other and you want to do some work, then we can explore that option as well.
Oh, fantastic. So amazing. Great. Thank you so much. We have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.